Good day from Glengarry County, Ontario. When we bought this farm for $8,000 in 1971, little did we know that we were now owners of the stoniest farm in Glengarry. However, we love it here. And I recall that in Japan they sell spiritual rocks in department stores for your meditation garden. So if you want some nice spiritual rocks, we can give you a good bargain here. For the next few talks, I'm going to tell the story of our second child, Machiko, as written in my authoritative book, Bonnie and Her 21 Children, in Chapter 3. She now lives in the United States and is herself a great-grandmother. We were Methodist at the time. We asked the bishop to appoint us to a difficult charge. He did. McKinley Park Methodist Church had kicked out its 3 previous ministers. It was in a white residential area in Chicago known for its antipathy to blacks. It was near the Chicago stockyards. A local politician quietly let it be known that if any blacks purchased a home in the neighborhood, the young whites should feel free to dynamite the house and he would see that they were not prosecuted. In other parts of Chicago, some houses had actually been blown up. Bonnie and I were determined to make a go of the church. Our hard work and enthusiasm paid off. The attendance at services increased so that the board decided to hold an additional service each Sunday to accommodate the numbers of people. The youth were passable as a choir and sang 2-part harmony. When I asked them to sing at both services, one somewhat rude kid replied, "Rev," not Reverend, just Rev, "Rev, we don't mind having to sit through the same sermon. We don't listen to that anyhow. But please, Rev, don't tell the same jokes twice." The choir was happy. Morale was high. The church was growing after many lean years. We had not told very many people that we planned to adopt a child from overseas. On the Sunday before our second child was to arrive, I announced to the congregation that we had adopted a little girl, 5 years old, through the courts in Japan by proxy. Proxy means we didn't have to go there ourselves. And that the child's mother was Japanese, her father was an American Negro serviceman later killed in action in Korea. The explosion was almost literal. Some of the congregation were incensed. "We have worked for years to keep up the value and appearance of our houses, and now our nice community will be ruined," one lady said. And she said, "Goodbye, and I'm not coming back." Ordinarily, I would have been glad to hear that woman say that, since she was critical of every new idea. But at this point, I wondered how many others would leave and whether there would be a congregation left. The district superintendent, Dr. C. Wesley Israel, was supportive. His patient response to callers was, "Well, let's not get too excited. Let's go easy and see how it goes with the other members of the congregation." But I had career jitters. Methodist Church law requires the bishop to provide employment for every minister, but it doesn't say at what salary or conditions. We heard of one fellow who was enamored of his own voice and ranted so much that no congregation could stand him for very long. We'll call him the Reverend Abner Wheeler. Abner was sent to the most isolated congregation, we'll call it East Holton, where no minister wanted to go. After a year there, these poor folk told the bishop they had taken their share of punishment and wanted Abner sent elsewhere. he went to another congregation which tired of him also. At the annual conference, Abner had a habit of loudly proclaiming "Amen" as the pastoral appointments were being read to the, I think, 700 or 800 delegates from the churches. Excitement was in the air as the district superintendent announced Reverend John Jones to the First Methodist Church of Swansea. Abner intoned loudly in response, "Amen." Reverend Alex Dapper, Honesdale charge. Abner rang out, "Amen." Reverend John H. Smith, Waterford charge. Abner hollered out, "Amen." Then the district superintendent said, "Reverend Abner Wheeler, East Holton charge." Abner said, "Ah, shit." But he went to East Holton anyhow. The names are different, but the story is true. It will continue in the next episode. Today's song is totally unrelated, but I love it. And Bonnie has Scottish blood, so we're allowed to sing it. Bonnie Charlie do a walk safely o'er the friendly main, and your heart will break in twain should he ne'er come back again. Will he no come back again? Will he no come back again? Better load ye cannot be. Will he no come back again? Ye trusted in your Highland men, they trusted you, dear Charlie. They kent your hiding in the glen, death and exile braving. Will ye no come back again? Will ye no come back again? Better load ye cannot be. Will ye no come back again? Many a gallant soldier fought, many a gallant chief did fall. Death itself were dearly bought. Ah, for Scotland's king and law. Will ye no come back again? Will ye no come back again? Better load ye cannot be. Will ye no come back again? English bribes were all in vain, though pure and purer we maun be. Siller canna buy the heart that I beats warm for thine and thee. Will ye no come back